Hey, what's up guys, PokéStops here. Today I'm gonna show you it's still possible to stack your Super Rocket Raiders to track down Giovanni's hideout. In other words, we do not stack the item itself. For this to work, we're actually stacking the special research that awards the Super Rocket Raider. Before you can do this, you can't have a Super Rocket Raider in your item bag. So you have to finish that Giovanni research first. Once you have done that, you're able to receive a new research when the next Team Go Rocket Takeover rolls around. Once you receive that new special research, do not go past page 1 of that special research. If you stay on page 1 of that special research, you are able to receive a new special research over and over again, every time there is a new Team Go Rocket Takeover event. So guys, you can collect as many special research stories as you want. And all you have to do is just stay on page 1. So when Giovanni finally has a legendary that takes your interest, you can finally start completing the research and take your Super Rocket Raider into your bag. So when should you start stacking those special research? In my opinion, when the Shadow legendary is kinda useless for raids, I start stacking them. For example, I skipped the Shadow Regis. They're not really that useful, so I wanted to use my Super Rocket Raider for something better. As you guys already know, the next Team Go Rocket Takeover event is gonna start soon, and the next Shadow Legendary is Cresselia. So, in my opinion, if you're not a really big fan of PvP, I would say don't catch Shadow Cresselia. Keep that research on page 1 and wait for something better. So, what should be the best Shadow Legendary to wait for? The one I was waiting for was Shadow Kyogre and Shadow Groudon. Just imagine the next Shadow Legendary would be Shadow Rayquaza. I mean, there are so many other better Shadow Legendaries, so I would definitely skip Shadow Cresselia. But hey, if you really want to catch it for your decks, go for it. But I would still go for something more usable. Now we're done with that, let me show you my big Shadow collection. And I have to tell you guys something. I sometimes have more luck with a Shadow Hundo than with a shiny Hundo. It's amazing, it's crazy. So the first one we have is a Hundo Shadow Ursaluna. Next up, Shadow Hundo Tyranitar, my favorite. Perfect for raids. After that, my beauty, Shadow Metagross, 96%. Let's go. Next, Shadow Gyarados, 96%. Our first Shadow 98% legendary, Shadow Zapdos. After that we have a 98% Shadow Gardevoir. Next up, my first Shadow Hundo I've ever found, Shadow Machamp. I'm using him for lots of raids. And after that, another one, 98% Shadow Machamp. If you think I have the most luck with that one, look at Swampert. We have one Hundo and another 98%, but wait, there comes more. But first, let me show you Shadow Weavile, 96%, perfect as an ice and dark attacker. Next up, Shadow Scyther, 98%. And there he is, another one, 100% Shadow Mudkip. For some reason, Shadow Mudkip really likes me. And guys, let me tell you something. Should you ever purify a Shadow for a perfect Hundo? In my opinion, no. It's more easy to find a normal Hundo from a raid or an egg. Shadows are much more rare. And they're stronger for using in raids. So I'm never gonna purify any of them. And guys, let me know in the comments how many Shadow Hundos did you guys find? I'm curious. And would you rather get a Shadow Hundo or would you prefer a shiny Hundo? Unfortunately, not all of my big Shadows are useful, but it's still nice to get them. A 98% Numel, a 98% Blitzel. What can you really do with them? It's just for the collection, I guess. And my last beauty, a 96% Shadow Magikarp. He's gonna be a big Gyarados someday, absolutely. And guys, if I have to be honest, The only time I would ever purify a shadow is when I find a shiny Shadow Mewtwo with the stats 13, 13, 13. So when you purify a Pokemon, he gets a +2 in every stat. That means he would become a Shundo. But only if he gets 13, 13, 13. And this one was so close. 13, 11, 13. At least you tried. Now let me tell you what the downsides are of purification. So when you decide to purify your Pokemon, he will turn into a normal Pokemon, of course. This way he will lose that 20% damage bonus that only Shadow Pokemons have. So how can I explain this in other words? For example, a 0% IV Shadow Pokemon has more damage per second than a 100% IV regular Pokemon. Just only because of the 20% Shadow damage bonus. And that, guys, that's the only reason when you finally get a Shadow Pokemon with 15 in attack, you should always keep that one in a Shadow form. Never purify that one. Alright, Shadow Pokemons have some downsides too. It will lose 20% in his defense. But in a raid battle, you can kinda ignore that. It's all about damage per second. Just because a Shadow Pokemon has a higher damage per second, you are sometimes able to solo a legendary raid just because of that 20% damage buff. And like I said before, the only time I would ever purify a Pokemon is when it has 13, 13, 13. And it must be shiny and able to Mega Evolve. Only then. But just for an example, like I would catch a Shadow Mewtwo that's shiny, of course, and it would have 15, 15, 14. Some people would purify that for the Mega Evolution. Never do that. That 98% would be so strong and it is shiny. Come on. You can always find a normal shiny from raids. Or you can even lucky trade one of them. But guys, this is still my opinion. You can still play the game as you like and purify as many Pokemons as you want. It's just the opinion of mine that I'm giving you guys. And oh, before I forget, let me know in the comments which Shadow Pokemon are you most looking forward to see in Pokemon Go. The one I'm waiting for is Shadow Rayquaza. And another one I want to see again is Shadow Bacon. I still don't have a good Shadow Dragon attacker. So now you guys know for what reason I'm stacking my Super Rocket Raiders, Shadow Rayquaza. Now just imagine using a raid party with Mega Rayquaza and 5 Shadow Rayquazas. Your dragon damage would be insane. And I hope everyone enjoyed this video and liked my Shadow Showcase. If you want to see some more of my Pokemon collection, let me know in the comments. If this video gets enough likes, I will try to make some video of it. So before you guys go, don't forget to give this video a like. Thank you for the support and thanks for watching everyone. See you next time.